What is going on, guys? Belal Muhammad, the newly minted welterweight champion of the world, has expressed his interest to move up to 185 pounds and fight for the middleweight title, meaning that he would be a dual champ, and he's also expressed his interest in defending both titles, jumping back down to welterweight, defending it, going back up to middleweight and defending it. Now, Belal's done great things, and if he's able to do this, he goes down in history as one of the greatest fighters of all time. Yes, Belal Muhammad, one of the greatest welterweights of all time. I don't want to glaze Belal too much because all the glazing right now is reserved for Jon Jones, because Jon Jones is the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world, according to Dana White, and the greatest combat athlete of all time, according to Dana White. So all the glazing needs to be done and saved for Jon Jones. Let's have a look at what Belal first needs to do, what business he needs to take care of in the welterweight division before we have him even moving up to middleweight and thinking about fighting for a title. So, first of all, Belal Muhammad has three people that he needs to take care of business with. Okay? One, Kamaru Usman, so the number 2 ranked guy. Number 3 ranked guy is Rakhmonov, so Shavkat. And number 5 is Jack Della Maddalena. So obviously number 1 and 4 are missing. 1 being Leon Edwards and 4 being Colby Covington. He's not going to fight Leon Edwards at this point in time for a rematch. And Colby is not going to be fighting Belal Muhammad. I can assure you guys that. If he does, that would be insane. My 2 picks are obviously Usman and Shavkat Rakhmonov. And I think it's going to be Usman because he's a bigger name while they try to kind of build that name value of Shavkat, maybe with another fight. Jack probably is 1 or 2 fights away from a title shot, so let's put him to the side. So let's say in some different universe, Belal comes in, takes care of Usman, takes care of Rakhmonov, 2 guys who are very tough customers, puts them away, defends his title twice, and still expresses his interest to move up to 185 pounds and fight for a title. Would you guys be interested? Absolutely. I would be interested because he's now defended it twice against 2 tough guys. A former welterweight champion, one of the greatest welterweights of all time, and Shavkat, an absolute monster. So he does deserve the chance to move up and fight for the 185 title. So who would he fight if he moved up? Now, obviously, Dricus is fighting Adesanya for the welterweight title, and the other 3 guys might actually fight for that title in the meantime where Belal's taking care of business with Usman and Shavkat. So it could be any of these 5 guys essentially. So that's why I've listed them. From champion all the way to number 4, which is Imavov. Let me take a quick breath here, guys, because this is going to get a little bit too exciting for me because this stuff excites me. Okay. So let's say he was to face any of these guys. At the time that he faces any of the middleweights moving up, he would be around 37, 38. I'm going to guess he's in his late 37 and early 38. So something like that. People usually don't get better with age. Father Time's undefeated. So there is that. Also, he's a 5'11 and has a 72-inch reach. I had to correct the metric system over here because I can't understand it. I had to actually go and convert it. So 5'11 is definitely not tall, and 72 inches is definitely not long. All the guys that I've listed are 6'1" and above, going all the way to 6'4". So he would have a distinct height and reach disadvantage. Belal's probably 200 pounds, I would say. He is pretty heavily muscled. Even at 5'11, he's very muscled. But all these other guys that are fighting at 185 pounds are 210, 220, 225. We had Pereira who was 230. Just wrap your head around that. They're much, much bigger than Belal. But let's see how Belal would do against these guys. Against the current champion, Dricus du Plessis, how would he do? Now, I think Belal would have a significant cardio advantage if he doesn't take too much creatine and get too big and come in at 230 pounds and then gas out because his muscles need oxygen, obviously. But I think the way Belal fights, he would carry some good conditioning up to middleweight. But I think it ends over there. I think Dricus would have the power advantage, both in the grappling, the wrestling, and the strikes. I think he would have a major advantage as far as how explosive he is. I don't think Belal is able to take Dricus down. And if he does, I sure as hell don't think he holds him down. And I think Dricus would be able to take Belal down, okay? Especially bullying him, maybe catching a kick and taking him down. So I think Belal doesn't stand much of a chance against Dricus. I might be wrong, but I favor Dricus here, 70-30. Next person, Sean Strickland. This is a nightmarish matchup, in my opinion, for Belal Muhammad. Strickland is a volume-based striker who pressures, comes forward, has good takedown defense, has good grappling, doesn't stay down on the floor when you do take him down, and he's in your face from the first second. Belal's very hittable, and Sean Strickland doesn't get hit often. So I favor Sean Strickland 70-30, maybe 80-20. I don't give Belal Muhammad much of a chance against Sean Strickland. I might be wrong. You guys can comment below. Next in line. By the way, this is a sick picture of Adesanya. I'm not even an Adesanya fan, but this is a dope picture. Israel Adesanya, the former world champion, one of the greatest middleweights of all time. I think Belal Muhammad has a good chance against him. And hear me out before you guys freak out in the comments. Adesanya's boxing defense is one of his biggest liabilities. He gets hit. He moves back into the cage all the time. He doesn't laterally move well when he gets hit. When he gets tired, when he gets frustrated, he hugs the cage with his back. This is the perfect opportunity for Belal Muhammad to engage in the grappling, in the takedowns, and just be a frustrating cockroach to Adesanya. Now, that being said, I think Adesanya is still the favorite. But I favor him 55-45. I think it's a close fight. I think if Belal could beat anyone in the middleweight division, it's strikers. It's not guys who can also wrestle and guys who have good defensive boxing. So that's my pick over there, 50-45 for Adesanya, but it is a closer fight. Moving on to the next guy, Bobby Knuckles. This is one of the worst matchups too. This is a terrible matchup. A guy who can strike, that moves laterally well, has wicked kicks, is much bigger than Belal as far as I shouldn't say much bigger. He fights much longer than Belal. Belal's pretty much a boxer who comes forward and throws some kicks. As far as Bobby's concerned, he stands much more linear. He's a karate style, in and out. He jumps in, strikes, gets right back outside. He blitzes in, blitzes out. He has very good conditioning, excellent, and I mean excellent defensive grappling. You're not going to hold Bobby Knuckles down unless you're just like some monster named Dricus. And he has the conditioning plus the experience of what seems to be a million 5-round fights now. I favor Bobby Knuckles in this fight 60-65, to 40-35. Major advantage for Bobby Knuckles here. I don't see how Belal beats him. Again, I have been wrong, but I favor Bobby Knuckles. Next in line, kind of a newcomer, right? Other than his win against Cannonier, you don't really hear much about Imavov. But what we do know is he's a lanky, tall striker, wicked Muay Thai. He has really good knees in the clinch, solid takedown defense. He can get back up. But again, just like Adesanya, one of his liabilities is when somebody gets in your face, pushes you back, strikes with you, just like Strickland was able to do. And just, he doesn't like volume. He doesn't like dirty things. What he likes is you stand in front of him, he stands in front of you, you guys trade techniques, and because he's such a technician, because he's so efficient in his striking techniques, he will get the advantage. But you make it dirty, you put the pressure on him, you bring the volume, you spam some takedowns, which Belal will do, you have a good chance. I think against Belal, this is as close as it gets for Belal. I would say, again, 55-45, 50-50. This is a close matchup. I could see Belal possibly winning this, especially, in a 5-round fight where Imavov is very inexperienced. And I do favor Belal's conditioning. Guys, let me know what you guys think as far as Belal Muhammad in the welterweight division. What is he going to do? Is he going to be able to get at least 2 title defenses so we can have a sane conversation about him possibly moving up to middleweight and vying for a title there. If he does get there, who do you favor Belal Muhammad against? Out of the top 5 guys in the current middleweight division, is there anyone that, you look at Belal Muhammad and you say, I'm willing to bet the house on Belal? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.